Aries. Aries symbol: Mercury stations and turns retrograde today, dear Aries, and you may want to be a little more aware of what you're saying or how you're saying it. It's best not to take it for granted that others will understand you, even with people who usually do. Mercury will remain retrograde until October 18th, and in the weeks ahead, there can be some slowdowns. While your plans and relationship goals are big, it's best not to rush things. There can be some confusion surrounding partnership matters, but delays can redirect you in empowering ways. As you see past issues in a new light, you learn much about yourself and your relationship needs. Today is good for thinking outside of the box about financial matters. Analyzing past patterns can help you make better decisions. Still, it's probably best if you avoid focusing too narrowly and instead keep some of your options open. Taurus. Taurus symbol: Mercury turns retrograde today, dear Taurus, and paying some extra attention to your communications is a good idea. There may be some delays to deal with now. For all signs, there can be some delays, more red tape to deal with than usual, misunderstandings, and lack of clear messages coming through in general. For you, the retrograde occurs in your work and health sector, and these can be areas where you'll see some backtracking or waiting. Old problems at work can resurface in the weeks ahead. Mercury's retrograde lasts until October 18th, and projects that you thought were complete may need some reworking. Today, it would be wise to double-check your work and take more care with what you say and sign. Once past this hump, however, there is good energy for working on refining and editing projects. This cycle may serve to sway your thinking and change your mind about recent decisions. However, it does have a special way of revealing details that you previously overlooked. You might find that the refinements you make now will be very valuable later. You can be excited about a longer-term plan, project, or group endeavor today. You can feel quite inspired by a friend or something in your network. Inventive new ideas, dreams, and possibilities can figure strongly now. Gemini. Gemini symbol: UVE had big ideas and plans in recent days, dear Gemini, but with your planetary ruler, Mercury, turning retrograde today, it's best to slow down, take stock, and review in-progress endeavors. Communication breakdowns are possible with the shift occurring now. This retrograde cycle lasts until October 18th and happens in your sector of romance and creativity. People and problems from the past tend to resurface, or they're an emotional preoccupation in the weeks ahead. Check and recheck your figures today, and be sure that what you're expressing is understood as you intended it. It's all too easy to get your wires crossed now. During the cycle, you're in great shape for revisiting past creative projects or ideas that you didn't have time to pursue or complete. If a project or relationship is not moving forward in distinct ways, it might seem like stagnation, but it's instead a period of review, catch up, or rest. There can be waiting games, delays, or stalling, but giving due attention to what you've overlooked means you end up ahead of the game, ultimately. It would be wise to go easy on speculation for now. As much as you may prefer to jump ahead, it's better to edit projects already in progress. The moon spends the day in your sign, engaging your emotions and bringing more color to your life. Cancer. Cancer symbol: you may be dealing with little things going wrong, misunderstandings, or delays today, dear Cancer, with Mercury turning retrograde. It's best to be especially clear if it's essential to get your message across. This retrograde will last until October 18th, however, and you'll acclimate to the shift, finding new ways to approach old problems. It occurs in your home and family sector, where it will stimulate your desire to make contact and communicate with family members, as well as to organize your domestic life. It's a good period for revisiting old projects or ideas, particularly related to family and domestic matters. While there can be some mechanical issues or delays, you see life from a different perspective, particularly your emotional experience and matters related to family and home. You may be waiting for an answer, but this affords you time to reconsider options. Today is better for taking stock rather than pushing something forward. Try not to stress over roadblocks, especially since there is wonderful energy for opportunities to learn and heal. Leo. Mercury turns retrograde today, dear Leo, and communications are unlikely to be straightforward. Decision-making is not always clear as you search within for answers and need more time to draw conclusions. However, the weeks ahead are strong for reviewing projects and plans. Try your best not to focus on flaws and problems, and this can be a rewarding period when revisiting past projects or subjects of study can be satisfying. Mercury remains retrograde in your sector of communications and transportation until October 18th. This influence can mean some misunderstandings and redirects in the next while, but it's great for collecting information, research, and work that involves refining and editing. Returning to unfinished projects or reconnecting with old studies, places, or people can be enjoyable and instructive. Delays or slowdowns may be blessings in disguise as they lead to thinking things through and seeing old problems in a new way. It can be an excellent time to catch up. Today, work or business can do well if you apply non-traditional thinking to them. The desire to innovate is strong. Virgo. Try not to be too casual or carefree with communications today, expecting others to get your meaning, dear Virgo, with Mercury turning retrograde. The shift happening now can produce some confusion. Until October 18th, you may need to review or return to old problems or play a waiting game, particularly with financial matters. Something can be up in the air for the time being. It may not be an ideal time for making entirely new large purchases, and it's best to watch for fuzzy or wishful thinking, especially with practical matters. Aim to come at old problems from a new direction or perspective, opening your mind to new ways of thinking and different approaches. You are looking back before you move forward, which can be a valuable exercise. Today, an idea can inspire you and set off interesting tangents of thought. Libra. Mercury turns retrograde today, dear Libra, and it's best not to begin something all new, as it will likely get off to a slow start, or you might reconsider it later. There can be delays, misunderstandings, or a lack of clear messages while Mercury is retrograde until October 18th. Because it occurs in your sign, it's a little more personal for you. Decision-making turns inward, it's a time of a little more introspection, and you will benefit greatly from this. Tremendous insights and possibly the beginnings of critical new ideas can emerge during this cycle. This period is best used for reorganizing and reflecting. While you may be putting your foot in your mouth from time to time, you're also working on clarifying your thoughts and ideas, and you're getting plenty of space to do so. However, the shift today can be disorienting, and it's best to wait and see. Today's energies also challenge you to let go of familiar patterns of thinking and create new ones. Even if you disagree with others on some points, you're certainly finding things to stimulate your mind. Scorpio. Today can be liberating in some ways, dear Scorpio, but a little tricky in other areas, mainly due to possible communication breakdowns and misunderstandings. Mercury stations and turns retrograde, and in the weeks ahead, there can be some need to look back before you push forward. Decision-making can be difficult in the next while, as you play with different possibilities. You can quite easily put your foot in your mouth or reveal something that you'd prefer to remain hidden. However, it's a good cycle for redoing and refining work that is already underway, journaling, and backtracking over the past to find previously overlooked answers. Mercury will retrograde until October 18th. Initially, you might find that inner and outer signals are difficult to read. Later, you're likely to recognize that you are looking at things in new ways, and a fresh perspective can work in your favor. You might consider exercising more care with your privacy. It would be wise to be especially clear when communicating about your inner world now, or take this time to re-examine issues rather than communicating about them too soon. Sagittarius. Mercury turns retrograde today, dear Sagittarius, and some of your recent ideas, plans, or decisions can meet with delays. There can be some fuzzy thinking or misunderstandings during this shift today, as wires can cross or there are annoying detours. Until October 18th, Mercury is backtracking through your friends and dreams sector, emphasizing your communications with associates, groups, and friends. People from your past may re-emerge in your life. It also is a time for the hatching of ideas, but watch for missing information or fuzzy thinking. In the 3 weeks ahead, you could be dealing with delays. However, overlooked details may come to light, giving you the chance to change your mind or make significant refinements and edits. It can be especially favorable to look to the past for insight and rethink problems from a different perspective. Capricorn. Mercury stations and turns retrograde today, dear Capricorn. While this cycle can be beneficial for going over in-progress projects and discovering new ways of looking at old problems, as it stations now, there can be some confusion, particularly on a professional level or with business matters. It's best to be clear in your communications. Plans drawn up today may never come to pass, or there can be delays that keep things up in the air. This retrograde cycle, lasting until October 18th, can have a way of rehashing or recirculating past problems. However, it's a fine time to refine projects that are already underway and very helpful for turning your attention to issues you usually overlook. You might observe trends or reconsider past plans and projects. Frequently, a delay occurring during a Mercury retrograde cycle leads to valuable edits. Today's energies are strong for creative expression. Seeing past patterns can help bring perspective to your projects and endeavors. Aquarius. There can be a need to be careful with expressing yourself through both the written and spoken word today, dear Aquarius, with Mercury changing directions. Mercury turns retrograde today, and until October 18th, there can be some delays or miscommunications. While the shift can be problematic in spots, the period ahead is good for reviewing your belief system and personal philosophy, working on publishing projects already underway, and returning to studies or past interests. You'll benefit from taking a look at things from a new or different perspective, so even if blocks are irritating, you might get the chance to reconsider some of your plans to your advantage. For now, aim to lay low, observe, and process. Still, there can be an illuminating moment today, and problem solving with family, home, and money matters is creative. Pisces. Mercury stations and turns retrograde today, dear Pisces, and it's wise to be clear with instructions or formal conversations now. Watch also that you don't neglect or overlook critical financial details. Lending and spending can be temporarily problematic or create a hassle. During the retrograde cycle until October 18th, aim to double-check financial matters, especially debts, loans, and shared assets. All may not be as they appear at first glance. However, it's a good time to review, budget, and get a different perspective on your intimate relationships and your inner workings. The tendency to miss vital instructions or details is strong today as the shift occurs, but as you grow more accustomed to this energy, you'll find ways to make it work for you. You could discover that you're frequently turning to the past to understand the present. There may be delays or uncertainty, but you'll get the chance to sort out long-standing issues or discover hidden or overlooked resources. Today is good for creative thinking and putting your unique perspective and viewpoint to good use. Distractions can prevent you from reaching a conclusion at times, but don't let go of the creative process since challenges to your thinking can help you think more clearly.